It's time to raise the banners again, my friends. The new Bannerlord patch just dropped. And I'm going to put together a little guide here for all of you young Khans that are looking to start your own horse archer horde. I've been doing it since, well, hell, I was riding under the banners of the Great Sanjar Khan. So I have been a Khajiit/Khuzait enthusiast for many moons. So if you're looking to do kind of a different style of playthrough, I'll show you kind of a fun one that I do. And I like to fire up. And I'll also just show you guys some of the cool features in the new patch. So, prepare to ride under the banner of the Great Bobo Khan. So the build I'm going to focus on is going to be a roguery focused build. I want to show you because what it's going to highlight for you is the changes. The beta has some really nice changes to loot in that it has a lot of modifiers to loot. So loot can get these modifiers which make it basically an upgraded version of itself. Like you'll get a reinforced type of armor or a waxed type of armor which adds 1 or 2 armor or something. But those versions of loot sell for a lot of money. And you'll remember, or if you haven't ever played a roguery build, increasing your roguery increases the amount of loot that you get. So now that loot is very and can be very valuable. You can get some really nice and expensive pieces of loot. It makes it so that having high roguery is actually very beneficial. Oh, look at the young lad starting out. I love the hat. Look at that. All right, we're going to fly the flag of the wolf because that's how we strike, family. We strike as a wolf pack. None of that fancy hero shit. We work together. So we start here at the gates of Makeb. Let's start first with our character. I'm going to just focus on roguery. I'll go ahead and be my own scout just because I think it's thematic. I like to play this guy like he's one of the jaded steppe guys, or he's one of the jaded clans from the steppes that Monchug kind of ran over when he took over. And he wants to bring back the old ways. So that's kind of how I do these playthroughs. I usually ally with one of the Empire factions to help me take over the Khuzait lands that I want to take over, and then I double cross them and I start my own empire. That's usually my approach. I would like to do it from within, but the politics system, it just isn't there yet. Maybe they'll upgrade it, but for the most part, that's how I'm going to play this. But the build that I'm going to focus on is going to be very, 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 very cunning and control. Those are two. I'm going to shoot like bazookas out of my bow off my horse, and I'm going to go heavy into the cunning tree. And then I'll grab steward and leadership where I can. I want to show you guys that you don't have to have that stuff. These people that say this is mandatory, I'm going to show you it's absolutely not. You can play now. It's maybe less efficient and all that stuff, but that's okay. The goal is to have fun. So play whatever difficulty, play whatever spec, just have fun. The reality is I don't paint the map most of the time. I play most of my campaigns to a point, and in this one I'll probably just play it up to the first fief and I'll let you take it from there. So the first thing you need to understand about your Khuzait playthrough is that there are 2 types of soldiers in the armies of the Great Khans. Okay, there are horse archers and there are peasants. And that's it. So we are going to go recruit horse archers, and I'll show you which ones. We'll grab a little food. So the first goal is to come here. This is what we're looking for. Khuzait's noble sons. This is it. This is the only unit you're going to recruit. Now, if you right-click on them, you'll see these eventually upgrade into the Mighty Khan's Guard, the greatest unit ever made. Okay, so we're just going to grab those, and we're going to grab as many of those as we can. Now, you'll see right away, those of you who are used to recruiting those 10 gold Empire troops, that these are 180. But remember, that comes with the mount. So it's actually not a horrible deal because especially early game, the mounts are very expensive. One thing to point out, and one of the reasons I really like to come up north here, is that noble troops, this noble troop line that we're looking for, remember, they spawn in castle villages. So you'll notice in this castle, the 2 villages, right here that are off of it, Dinar and Karahali, those are going to spawn noble troops because they're connected to a castle. So that's something to remember. So we want to go to villages that are connected. So this Kaiser Castle here, Kazar. There it is. Now we're getting low. Now we can get one more. What's our monthly at here? 12 gold. So we're still good. We could get one more. We want to get 6 guys. Just get 5 or 6. 5's fine if you only get 5. Even 4 will work. Okay, now we're on the prowl. Now this is perfect. So there's some news. Now you want to go very slow here because we don't want to bite off more than we can chew in early game before you get all the movement. We could take this 13 though. That's fine. Okay, our first encounter. Let's talk about a few things. First off, our horse archers here. Okay. Just think of them initially as archers. Just start using them as archers. And what we're going to do is we're going to just fire a few volleys off, right? Now they'll have to get closer. And then what we're going to want to do is let them fire off 1, 2, 3. Now, the key thing is don't get so caught up in leveling up your bow right now that you let your guys get hit. Now, what I do is I just click on them and click over here. Now, that was too late, right? Might lose one for that. What'll happen is eventually, I don't know what happened to that guy. And that's it. When they get too close, you just back them up. And this is the beginning of the tactics. You see why we picked the wolf pack? So that's kind of a cool thing about these troop types is that while they are expensive to recruit up front, you can see as long as we don't bite off more than we can chew and we manage them well, we don't lose a lot of them. So you're not really losing a lot of troops either. And every once in a while, we're just wanting to add one guy. We'll just add one guy every once in a while. If you're new to the steppes, you're going to want to know about these guys. These are Steppe Bandits. These are the guys that make it very hard to get a melee army up and running on the steppes because they're actually pretty difficult. The lower level ones are pretty manageable, but the higher level ones can really decimate your low level troops. And these run around in groups of 12 to 14, and they're all mounted, so you can see that speed. These 3 are moving at 6.9, but even the groups of 20 or so are moving at 6+. So they're going to hit you, and they're going to hit you in groups, and then they'll hit you in groups of like 30. So you have to be fast, and this is why having a scout out here on the steppes is very important. But just beware of these guys. Now, 8 on 3, I could take these guys, and I very well may. But you have to be careful chasing them because they're notorious for pulling you into a bigger group. And if you're just starting out, just practice this. We'll just do this for a few more times. Just get used to moving your horse archers. And honestly, you can use them this way. This isn't such a bad way to use them. Obviously, we're going to bump up the tactics a little bit, but you can, if you're just starting out, that's the perfect way to use them. So this is the early game, okay? It's just a mad push to becoming a mercenary, basically. Because we want to get one of those sweet mercenary contracts. Because you got to remember, if we have a mercenary contract, any action, whether we're raiding a village, raiding a caravan, any roguery action or whatever, we also get paid on our mercenary contract. And we want to build our army up and we want to build the foundation of our empire on someone else's dime, right? That's the goal. So all I do is just hunt bandits down. Now you can weave in tournaments if you want to. I'm going to leave them out because sometimes it's nice to have a playthrough that you don't. I've maxed out scouting. The next thing I'm going to do is max out steward. Now watch something. When you just charge, they're going to circle around and do this, but look how inaccurate they are. Look how, watch how long they'll ride around and shoot. See? So while this does spread out your defenders, low-level horse archers really have a hard time hitting at this. So you're going to get a lot more efficiency out of them, out of just using them in a group. So I just put them over there. So I basically did one full lap around here, just getting guys at the castle villages. I'm up to 13 and hunting looters. Okay, and I showed you how to just move your guys around. Now I'm going to go around again, and I go to every city. I check the taverns for any good followers. Really looking for a caravaner early. And you can do the tournaments if you want. Again, we're trying to push this renown up to tier 1, so and tournaments can help. Now we're going to change the tactics up a little bit. Now instead of just sitting here and shooting them, now we're going to have them follow. So I'm going to pick them.
Horse archers, follow me!
And I'm going to have them follow me. And what we want to do is, as you can see, they always shoot off to the left. So we always just want to roll around in a circle. And this is it. Now, you can charge them, and they'll do this on their own, kind of. But there's a few things about them doing it on their own. First off, for some reason, a few of them just kind of kamikaze in there. It's actually kind of cool, because I feel like when you charge them in, you're kind of given over to the bloodlust, so to speak. So I feel like it's kind of probably, I don't know. I feel like there's probably some guys that tried to show off in battle and stuff, so I don't know. It's kind of cool. But it is kind of annoying early game when you lose units that go charging into a bunch of guys. So just be aware that if you charge them, that can happen. Also, one of the advantages to me leading the group like this is that, as you can see, I can keep it very close. And like I said, these low tier horse archers are not very accurate. But one of the ways to increase their accuracy is to get them closer to the targets. And as you can see, they made short work of those guys. Good job, fellas. The wolf pack's looking strong. Don't be afraid to roam the Empire. Go look for it. This is a great time to just go look for some followers, because you got to run around anyway from city to city to look for them. And then you can just clip bandit crews in between that you find. So when you can, do try to get them to follow you. And early, if you're not familiar with the faction and you've never played a horse archer run through before, just get used to leading these guys around like this and trying not to let them get clipped. There's kind of an art to it, and you kind of learn how to do it. The best way that I'll tell you immediately is worry more about controlling it. It's not about going fast. Actually, sometimes slowing down like this is way more efficient, right? Because you're getting way more kills. And that's really what you're wanting to do. You're really wanting to get them in position to maximize their damage. So play out the battles if you need to save the money. But once you've built up enough money that you can simulate some battles and you can recruit some new guys without it really being a problem, and losing a guy or two every few fights really isn't setting you back, then I just go ahead and start auto-calcing for a bit. Another thing you can do if you're going to ride around or you're going to take on a bunch of enemy archers or crossbowmen and you know they're going to be shooting volleys into all your horsemen, you see how they're kind of grouped up like that? You can spread them out and then have them follow you spread out, and they'll stay a lot more spread out that way. Gives a little more room for stuff to fall in between. See how that spreads them out? A good thing to do when you're right before you're about to hit, you're eligible for being a mercenary, is to come out here and get a little practice on the stuff that's a little more armored, because you'll want to learn one more wrinkle. So we'll use this one as an example of splitting our forces to maximize our damage. So we know that they're going to come at us and they're going to shield wall, right? So one of the commands you can do is you select your horse archers, right? And you hit F3 down there to toggle. And then you'll hit F5 to transfer. Then you'll need to select a group. And then you select how much of your group you want to transfer. I have 18, so let's transfer 9. Now when I select groups, you'll see I have group 4 and group 5. So I can move group 4 over here and group 5 over here. That really takes no time at all. Once you start simming those battles, you'll knock out Clan Tier 1 pretty quickly. And again, feel free to weave in tournaments or hideouts or quests or whatever makes it go faster for you. I just want to show you that if you're tired of doing all that shit, you don't have to. You can just, simulate battles against bandits. Again, I always suggest playing the ones that are going to be tight. If you want to fight Steppe Bandits or whatever, feel free. That can help get you some really nice money early for those daring adventurers. But I just wanted to show you how you can take it nice and easy. Just farm the looters, and you can farm huge batches of looters with just 10, 12 guys. So we've hit Clan Tier 1. Now we're shopping for being a mercenary, and I'm going to spend a long time as a mercenary. Okay, so Western Empire is offering me work for 130. No way. First off, I want to go to war. I want to be a mercenary for someone who's going to allow me to take Khuzait lands, because, I mean, it's kind of would be fun to marry into the Khuzait and then take over as, you know, once Monchug dies, but there's no guarantee of that. And I don't know. The politics system just isn't fleshed out enough to really feel like you're, in my opinion, to make that a lot of fun. 210. Oh my God. Okay, you see that. I mean, I got to take 210. So now remember, what you can do here, so long as the dinars keep flowing. Yeah, let's make that clear. So I've accepted a mercenary contract at 210. That's really good. Now, if I'm going to take over this, eventually, I probably will have to vassal up with another faction. But during my mercenary time, this will be very nice because I can just stay here. It's going to be a very target-rich environment. And I'm going to just be able to sit here and fill my coffers. Okay, so we have our mercenary contract and we're rolling around grabbing more noble sons to fill our ranks, right? Because we want to fill our ranks so that we can become a caravan raiding nightmare for the enemy. And we're going to just fill our coffers on the enemy's loot. Another thing to remember is, in order to upgrade these guys past level 3, we're going to need war mounts, which is a particular type of expensive horse. This is a good place to buy horses. Let's see, Steppe Hunter. So see, that's a pretty good price, 434. I'm going to buy as many of those as I can. So many that I can't even afford to... Oh, he just made peace. That's awful. Oh, they did me dirty. You saw that. That's ridiculous. Right when I bought all the horses and was about to upgrade. That's why you don't do it until you've got that Merc contract keeping you covered. See, I locked in there at 210. As long as I stay right here, I'm good. Well, that peacetime economy is forcing even me to do some of these hideout quests. Remember, when you come into a hideout with archers, that they will be in hold fire mode.
Respect the terms of the parley, and I...
So declares war when I'm just strolling by like a coward and then jumps on me. This one's personal. Well, remember what I said? Sometimes I don't have very high archery, so sometimes it's just easier. And I got my guys following me. And once you're on them, just stay on them. You want to really soften these fellas up if you can. Now remember, now we can, right? And now just keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling. So far, so good. We got them a little disorganized. We took the initiative, right? We took it to them. We're the ones setting the rules here. And now we're just going to roll around here. Oh, I'm not paying good attention. Sorry. We're just going to roll around, keep their cavalry from being double. And now we're going to get behind them into these archers is what I'm trying to do. Let's speed it up. Okay, so they're really doing a pretty good job. And again, you can fire into that if you want to. That's going to help level up. Don't worry about leveling up your bow too much. Once you buy a high-powered bow, you'll be able to level it up. And in this point, and later on in the battle, when you've got a little bit under control, you can unleash everybody. But when you really are at this critical point in the battle where you really need to soften them up pretty dramatically, and I really need to soften these guys up pretty dramatically. Now, a cool thing here is, see how I kind of have this angle? I can really slow this down and get a little more precision fire out of them. It seems like that really does help. Now, you can see right away that we've got that shield wall problem, right? So I'm going to go ahead and pick my troops, and I'm going to split them, right? And I'm going to tell my 5th group to go ahead while group 4 is going to peel off with me. Now watch. So One group's going to run around and they're going to start shooting in a circle. Now, see how some people charge in? I don't know why they do that. I wish they wouldn't, but it seems like they just have to for a little bit. So whatever that is, they got to charge in. But now, see, that group is facing us, and now I send this group in. And what's going to happen is, see, I've charged them kind of, well, I was a little late maybe. And now it's just mop-up time. Don't be afraid to piece together your first armor set with what you find off your enemies. Okay, that you're not some posh empire prince. These are humble origins. So we'll split them. Never hit our enemies at the same time. So these caravan battles are really pretty easy. What they're going to do is they're going to send out their scouts because that's what the AI does. But you know, they're trying to chase you off of the goods. They're going to come intimidate you. They didn't know that you came with the whole wolf pack. So now we got to get in here. And this is where it gets ugly. These little horse archer on horse archer battles. Which is why we're actually going to have to get, like, grab the armor that you can. Because you're going to need a little armor. Because you're leading this pack. So you're going to take some shots. And once you've got them mostly whittled down. Okay, so now there's the traders right there. Now they have armed. So I'm going to spread my horse archers out a little bit. And then we're just going to go around them. I'm going to slow down a little bit to get a little bit more accurate fire. And you can see they're just pelting all around. They're just saturating that ground. There it is. They'll start dropping. They're taking the initial. They're softening them up. They actually have some decent armor, especially some of those crossbow guys. And you have to remember, we do have some elite units, but we have a lot of new guys too. So, and then if you get tired of it, you can just hit charge and send them in. When you hear everybody scream like that, that's a mod called Immersive Sergeants. I love it, and I can't recommend it enough. And so at the early part of this mercenary stage, for this rogue playthrough, what I really like to do is if there's a war going on, is I just come out here and I just hit caravans and villages over and over. I just kind of change it up. Now, what that will do is it will draw enemy armies to you, and then if you want to hit them, or it's a good target, then I'll do it. But if it's a bad target, then I just pull out. So here we go here, and we're just cruising over. Right there, there's a beautiful target. What's infantry? That's easy. He just grabbed some recruits. That's nothing. Close. And so this is the same thing here. Now, one of the things that you'll see, you see these glaives? You see how close everybody is? This is actually a blender for enemy cavalry. If they come charging into all these glaived horse archers, they will wreck anything in here, especially if they're in this tight formation. So if they're in loose formation, it spreads them out a little bit. But anyway, here comes the enemy horse archers. Let's go ahead and engage them first. Teach them they don't ever come at us, right? Again, we don't ever want to. We want to use our speed as the advantage. So we don't ever want to engage their army as a whole. Now their infantry have no cover. They've got, what, 7 archers and 40. Okay, so we're going to start what I call a long circle. We're going to come way wide, and we're going to strafe them from the front. Now, anticipating that they're going to have a giant shield wall, I'm going to go ahead and split my guys into 2 groups already. But then I'm still going to have them follow me as a whole for now. And that way, when I'm ready to split, all I have to do is tell them to go. They're getting it from every direction now. And now, about this time, just go ahead and put everybody, everybody charge. There we go, baby. And that's how the wolf pack hits. You see, you just take each element as you can. Now, it won't always be like that. Sometimes the enemy just sends everything, and it just turns into a nightmare. Getting more horses, just making my force more elite by the upgrades. Look at these. Stacking these con guard up to 25 now. One of the things that's nice, like if you're going to go deep off into enemy territory to really get some good raiding off or really hit some deep caravans deep back there, it can be nice to take with you a stack of prisoners that you can recruit so you can refill your lines by your back there. If you've got a bunch of newbies, a bunch of new guys, you're trying to level up quick. It's just to go ahead and get to raiding. Because all these villagers and militia are going to come attack you to try to get you to stop. and they just die. So the whole goal with this build, especially during your mercenary contract phase, is basically just to level your roguery. Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can do this. The only ones I use is I just raid caravans, I raid villages, and I also sell, captives. You can do jailbreaks and stuff, and they're worth a lot, and there's guides on how to do that. I think Strat has a few, but that will level your roguery very, very quickly as well. I don't do a lot of that stuff. I don't know why. To me, it just seems pretty poorly implemented, and it kind of breaks my immersion, but there's ways to, there's also other tricks, and they call them exploits, but it's a single player game. I mean, do what you want to do. Okay, if you've got a trick to level it quickly and you don't want to go grind a bunch of villages or whatever, but you can see already we're at 16, at only 63, and I'm already at almost, I'm at 15%, almost 16% more loot. One of the things to do is make sure which group you're on. Just double check, especially if you're like me and you like to have a little smoke or a little drink, and your sobriety can vary throughout the playthrough. Just really check which group you're doing, because I've sent them through through the middle before. But that's okay. You'll mess things up. It's a very, very special day when a Khuzait horse archer buys his first noble bow. Just know that the most consistent thing to do in horse archery is to hit the hard as hell shots and completely miss the ones right next to you. I don't know what that's about. We're about to start being able to take down some pretty nice sized prey. So the best thing to do this point in the game is just to build yourself up a big little horde and then go on a raiding party. So I'll just start raiding, take hostile action, and then we start loading up. And you'll see we'll be getting goodies. And it's not about whether it makes money. First off, it's about setting a fucking example. Okay, and getting my name out there so everybody knows the name of the Great Bobo Khan and what happens to those who cross me. Okay, I'll take all your fucking butter and cheese and shit. Alright, enough's enough, family. You know me to be reasonable. But I'm done with these damn Karakurgit traitors working for the enemy. I know you're saying, aren't you pretty much doing the same thing? No. What I'm doing is completely different. There's a few ways to approach other horse archer armies, but just know that they're going to do the same thing that you do. They're going to run out and try to get their horse archers to start farming kills. These things can get pretty ugly, and this is why you kind of got to get your armor up on your guy kind of early. Once you've got them turned like this, stay on them. Just stay on them. And don't let up. Ever. Until you have to. So here they're retreating back into their infantry. Now we're letting up. But I'm just pumping all that as much as we can. And just look, if you catch a mood and you just want to let your guys go and get to it, you can do it that way too. Okay, so here's the situation this far. We're at clan tier 3, so we're ready to become a vassal if we want to, but we're still currently a mercenary. However, I've pretty much helped the Khuzait get their empire back or reclaim their old land. So now I'm done helping the Khuzait. So Monchug and them are still really struggling over here, but that's good because ultimately I want to take over this. So I've worked for them. I got a really good, that 230 on that mercenary contract was really good for me. So I've got a nice little stack of cash, but you can see I'm going to burn through it quick with my expected change. Honestly, as bad as that looks, it really isn't that bad because, again, what I'm showing you with the raiding, and you can just start hitting caravans whenever you need money. They're everywhere. The only thing is you really can't be at peace. So if you're going to be at peace, be prepared for a big bill. Now, I can't seem to find good followers anywhere. So otherwise, but one of the things that I would suggest before you stop being a mercenary and head into vassalhood is make sure you have some caravans up. Make sure you have maybe a workshop or two for the faction you're going to vassal for. 190. Hey, not bad. I really like working for the Empire because their towns are so close. So like, see, I can hit this caravan and I could just sell this stuff right here. Sometimes you'll think about maybe taking some of these lesser horse archers, but just don't. They're just absolutely disgusting. They just reek of inferiority. Let's follow this enemy army. Now that we've got our roguery up and stuff, these big battles with these guys can be wildly profitable. We want to get there right when it's ripe. I got you, family. Come on. Oh, I got you. I got you in this. Now watch. Okay, now watch this. This is going to be the force multiplier. You ready? A little outnumbered, but it's no problem.
After me!
There's a lot of ways to do battles, but one of my favorites when I'm running a horse archer army is, as I've been talking about, really try to focus on taking down elements of my opponent's armies rather than engaging it as a whole. So they're kind of pushing across the field. So actually this engagement might happen a little sooner than later, but I'm going to skip out on going for the horse archers, and I'm just going to engage these enemy cavalry here. And I want to try to actually engage them in a way that pulls them back towards their own faction. Right? Because I'd like to take a shot at all that big hunk, that big pile of man right there. Look at it. Right? And we're just getting one little, we're just softening them up a little bit. This is just one little tour. Just to welcome everybody to the battle, right? This isn't some crazy thing. You really have to be careful when you're in these big battles, not to let your wolf pack become a one-man wolf pack. You got to play with the AI. That bad AI, it's easy to kind of beat sometimes, and it does some stupid things you can take advantage of, but the AI you're working with can be pretty stupid too, so it can be a double-edged sword, that whole bad AI thing, especially in these big group battles. So that was one lap, and you can just keep doing that as you see fit. So now I'm going to re-engage.
Follow me!
It sucks sometimes when you can't shoot, but that's just what it is. Your job is to be the leader. And if you really want to, sometimes put them in a loose formation can be nice, especially while you got enemy cavalry running through and stuff. But remember, I feel like you get a little more glaive protection, but they get a lot less hung up. Hold fire. And now we'll just let them engage. Put my boys up there, get some much needed rest. Let the horses breathe for a second. Look at the details in this terrain. This is just awesome. If you're looking for a game where the battles are just, this is just so fucking cool. I love this game. It's got its problems, but I'm telling you, it is a blast. Alright, let's get ready for the AI mosh pit. I gotta tell this young commander here, I don't think this is a good formation, but it is kind of cool to see it in one. I told you the AI looked a little better. I know you won't agree with it being in this formation, but it is in a formation, and it's fighting. The archers are all sitting here shooting out. Pretty cool, I think. Okay, I'm gonna stage, but I'm not moving yet. Until those lines collide, I'm not moving, because if I head in and let that cavalry go ahead and charge into their cavalry, let's push our guys up into the tree line. We'll hit. Okay, here they come on us. Look out. Everybody follow me. They're engaging now. Okay, they're engaged. So now what you can do is just very carefully start weakening them up. I'm dry. When I'm dry at this point, I just let my guys get in there, get that XP, get that loot. Dude, can I just say, though, honestly, that the light purple versus dark purple is a disaster. Okay, we're going to have to put little red flags on guys or something. So once you break over like about 80, it starts getting really difficult, even with all the move speed perks, to catch up to caravans. I think that'll change once I max out scouting, but for now, I'll probably just put the caravans on hold unless I can trap them up against some terrain and just work on villages and armies. Okay, Big Daddy Lucon's here. I don't want those nasty things. You can keep them. We're going to start saving up our influence so we can buy an army so that I can start taking back my family's rightful lands. Is he going in on that? Is he going in on that? Do I do this? I do it. I think you got to do this. I have to do it. I have to help my party, my man out here. Look at the wolf pack. Look at the fucking wolf pack. Look how good they look. Oh, my beautiful pixels. I love you so much. Yeah, don't you ever forget my name. Look at him. He's scrubbing toilets for the enemy if it ain't for me. Yeah, congrats on the new castle. You're welcome. I mean, look at the loot that I'm making right now. You have to go to a couple cities sometimes. Like, I have to buy stuff just to sell it all. Oh, look how they fall to my will, YouTuber. I know you're saying it's OP, but don't think of it like that. It's beautiful. Look at my beautiful Bilik. We met out here on the plains of Adoka. Out here where the real steppe warriors battle. Dude, didn't the Mongols create the mail system and I gotta chase down everybody on this goddamn game? Oh, we need a mail system. Oh, look at that. That ain't for my Bilik. I'll throw a little more than that. Look, there you go. I'm gonna make it right. Look at me and my beautiful Bilik. We're gonna knock her up real quick, hopefully. Oh, look at that. Look at that. First night. Oh, my girl. See? It's a dream. It's a dream. Now I'm back to war. See how she cares for me? So in peacetime, I just keep the group kind of thinned out. Auto-resolve what I can. Maybe lose a few guys, but that's okay. You'll get some back. And you're getting to the point where it doesn't matter. Also, I like to keep grabbing war mounts so that when it does come time to go to war, I'm going to go have to recruit and fill up the ranks, and all those guys are going to need war mounts. So I like to keep at least 30, 40 on hand so I could start leveling up an army real quick if I need to, as soon as the drums of war begin. But I've got the wife. I'm starting to build up influence, and Makeb will be mine. As was spoken by the great shamans about the Great Bobo Khan that would come down and be fucking awesome. And he's on his way, family. He's on his way. Now, I like to make my wife my quartermaster so that she's starting to get that steward XP, so that when I take over my city, she's nice and leveled up. Ready to turn my city into a paradise. What do you think? Should we go for some horses, some sheep? What do you guys? Oh, look out! Oh, you know, I think I'm gonna pass on. I don't think I can help there. A child was born. No other information available, apparently. Look at my boys coming like wolves in the night. I don't know what all these little legionnaires are doing out here on the plains. Look like a bunch of snack packs. Somebody's back there taking that, fellas. You might want to go get your city back. Or you can just keep doing the castle, I guess. Take the city back when you're done with the castle. Oh, shit. Guys. Yo, fellas. Wrap it up. Because Regaya's pissed. Truly, like, seriously, guys, I cannot stress enough. You're going to want to really wrap it up in there. The Northmen just took back Makeb. Makes me fucking sick to think of them in there desecrating my town. But now's the time to hit it since it just got taken, so it'll be weak and the garrison should be kind of low, even though they'll restock it. Plus the granary will be low, so if I do need to starve them out to draw them out into the field, I'll be able to. So let's do this. Let's start a war with them. We abstain, yes, because I already spent 100. And then I'm going to create the biggest fucking army I can to take that shit back. And I'm going to kill every fucking Northman that tries to get in my way. There it is. That's all my influence. Prepare to witness destiny, YouTuber. Okay, now we have an army full of peasants that we can send up here. Someone's late to the party. How much longer are they going to take? Now, it's only got like 130 guys, and it's got plenty of food. And I've got plenty of peasants with me. F1, F3 as far as I'm concerned. Get up there. Get those legionnaires up on those walls. Look at all my handsome fellas. Huh? You guys just hang back here and watch the show. You've done your part. We'll let the peasants do what they're made to do. We're taking our sweet ass time, you Marys. Let's go. Get up on those walls. Huh? Look how they climb for Bobo. Vote for the new owner of Makeb. Absolutely. It should go to the only person, the Great Bobo Khan. You have witnessed the beginnings of Bobo Khan. And now from here you can make a lot of decisions. You can either, what I would suggest you do is take over a few more cities and make them your fief, maybe this castle here. Or if you're just super crazy, you could start with just this, but you're going to want a lot of money before you create your own kingdom. So I'll probably play this out and try to take a few more cities and castles in this area before I break out on my own. But I just wanted to show you how you can start your own Khanate. It's a lot of fun. I also want to show you a way to play that if you're kind of sick of doing tournaments or if you're super sick of smithing, I wanted to show you on the beta, you don't have to. Because of the loot changes, you're going to have plenty of money. So there you saw it from humble origins all the way to the governor of Makeb. I'm now ready to start working on building my own little empire. From here, you can either just wall up and save up a bunch of money, or I think what I'll do is take over a few more cities and castles before I break out on my own. But I wanted to show you how you could start your own little Khanate here. And I wanted to show you a playthrough that didn't include smithing or arena or any of that. If you're just done with all that and you need a break from the old ways, a little loot and pillage playthrough is just what you need. So there's two mods I have that have been updated for the beta that I want to show off. This first one, I mean, both of these are just two of my favorites. But this first one is just amazingly complex and awesome in what it does. So you'll see that I have these issues. Now, no matter whether you like doing quests or you don't, at some point, you've just got a lot of stuff to do outside of doing quests. And what happens is, if you don't do these quests for your city and your villages, it starts to add up and it hurts their prosperity. So, but then you have to spend the whole game doing all these quests. And once you get a few more fiefs under your belt, these can really add up. And I don't really like to do them into the late game. I mean, I like them in the early game, but there's so much fighting and grinding that has to be done after you build your own empire that this gets to be a little tedious for me, and it kind of contributes to that burnout that kind of makes it not fun. So the mod's called Governors Handle Issues. And what'll happen here is I'll put my Beautiful Bilik in, right? And I'm going to boost this up. And the first thing you can see, we just need some loyalty. Oh my God, do we need loyalty. So I assigned Bilik as my governor, right? And what this mod does is she's going to actually govern, which means she's going to take my garrison troops and stuff. And if there's like quests where she needs to go kill brigands or anything, it's going to simulate that she goes and handles it. Not only is she going to handle the quest in the city, but also in the villages. And I'll show you how you can set this up. Options, mod options, governors handle issues right here. This is just a crazy cool mod. And I'll link it in the description on the Nexus mods, but I cannot suggest it enough. Now, there's some options in here. It's auto resolve, and you can go through it on your own. I won't read them all to you, but here's one that's kind of cool, is that you can also allow the AI to have this. So what happens, and this becomes kind of interesting and cool, and you can have skill checks so that like certain quests couldn't be done unless your governor had certain skills. This is just kind of how it becomes as default. Now, here's an interesting one. On the map, if a hideout's, out there for a long time, eventually a quest will spawn to go destroy it. And, first off, the AI can't remove hideouts in its territory. So sometimes it really gets crippled because these bandit hideouts just sit there and they just wreak havoc on their economy and they can't really do anything about it. So if you check this and it becomes a quest and the AI has a governor in place, it will get rid of these hideouts. And I love that in the late game because, honestly, first off, I hate that you can't simulate the hideouts. I just can't be bothered to do them over and over again. They wear me out. So, but at the same time, they actually cause real problems on the map. And here, you can tone down the rewards. You can tone down, so you can balance it. I don't ever judge. I'm here to have fun. So if you want to max out your stuff or make something a little OP, I'm not going to judge you. It's all about having fun. But you can check which quest the governors can do or not do. You can really custom this thing out. You can grant trade XP. There's just so much. But the hideouts is a real big one. Again, it gives the AI a way to destroy these hideouts in their lands. And so now when I hand off the ball, so you'll see as I'm out running around here, let's see if it happens. I'll get little messages. Okay, let's see. See, Bilik has resolved a bandit base. And so that's how it works. So she starts actually governing and doing stuff. And that's just so great because, again, that grind to just constantly do all this stuff is brutal. So she just handles all of these chores. See, these quests got knocked out now. And so did the quest out here. And when they pop up, your governor's just going to take care of them. So these are my 3 villages. And then I'm going to get the benefit of that. You get like half of the gold and half of the rep. And it levels your governor up, which you'll know also is kind of a thing. And in the beta, unfortunately, that's not really fixed yet. Your governors and your companions still level, in my opinion, entirely too slow, considering the nature of what I think most people probably play through. I don't think most of us paint the map most times. So that's governors handle issues. It's an amazing mod. I cannot suggest it enough. If you really want to do the quest and you just really like that, then I probably wouldn't get this mod. But if you want a way to handle the late game, all the bandits and just all the chores, and just really get into the battles and kind of macroing the wars and getting back to the fun part of the game, in my opinion, there is not a better mod than that. So hats off to that modder. I'll link it in the description. It is an outstanding mod. I can't recommend it enough. The second mod I'm running is called Stop Starving Yourself. And what happens is this prosperity number, if you really break it down, as your town's prosperity goes up, it will pull from food. So the more people there are, and the more militia and garrison and everything, they all pull from this food. And eventually what happens is this prosperity number goes up so high that it drains all the food, and then you kind of have this reset. So what this mod, this Stop Starving Yourselves mod does that I installed, is it basically just stops that from happening. And it will just create some, and the briefest explanation, you can read in the mod if you want to understand exactly what it does, but the briefest and most succinct explanation is just going to be to say it prevents your garrison from starving itself. It will basically just make it create some harmony between prosperity and food so that it just creates this balance at some point based on some whatever script or algorithm they've put in there. So that's just so important to have. It's just such a need, and it needs to be in the game. I don't know why it's not, but I just so appreciate this modder taking care of it. And so I'm going to link that one in there, and it's probably one you're going to want to put in. But if you don't put that one in there, just be aware that if you get a town early or as it really starts to shoot up in prosperity, just watch the food because you're going to have to start pouring a lot of food into it. The Great Bobo Khan is about to rise like a phoenix, so I'm well on my way to my own empire if I can keep these two, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So I just wanted to show you a playthrough, a little OP Horse Archer playthrough. I always enjoy it. I fire one up every patch. And the new patch is great. The loot changes really make a roguery playthrough pay off. And again, I barely tapped into it. If you really push it up there, I think you'll be swimming in dinars. So it's a fun way to do it if you're kind of tired of smithing in the arena grind. You can just get out there and become a little Khuzait raider and pillager. But for those of you who have never played the Khuzait before, welcome to the family. Get comfortable, because we're awesome. And I hope I sunk that hook in you. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed your ride with the Great Bobo Khan. Oklahoma out.